Today's drawing prompt is a wildflower, and so I went out to my yard to try to find a wildflower that I could actually draw. One of the coolest things about drawing is being able to use your eyes as kind of like a recording device that then trickles down into your hands and translates that into pictures. When I tell my students to draw, I tell them to draw what they see and not what they think they see. So here I have my book, and I found something that's kind of similar to the drawing prompt for us, and I am going to draw what I see and not what I think I see. So here we have it. I am going to take a look at this flower and this bug. Go on, bug. Get out of here. Ooh, lots of bugs. And I am going to draw what I see. So I'm going to start with some basic shapes. Like there's a circle. The entire flower is kind of circular shaped. And around the edge, there are some other circles. I also know that there's like some gaps between the petals that look a little bit like triangles. And so I'm going to use that as the basis for the gaps in between my petals. And so I'm also going to make that go off into the distance. And now I can grab my pen and start to do the drawing. Essentially what I've done here is I've started with an underdrawing of sorts, almost like a gesture drawing. And so now I can actually get the regular part done. And so each one of these little things around the edge look like their own miniature flower. And I'm not going to try to draw it too accurately because then I'll be here all day. But as I go around the edge, I notice some special details about this particular flower, as if I am drawing a portrait of this particular flower. I notice that these lines go toward the center here, and there's some sort of darkness that goes around the edge here. So I'm just very carefully looking at what this looks like. Okay, so then I have my first petal that sticks out from this spot where I am at. And this petal comes out. It's a little thinner toward the edge and has little jagged edges here. It also has some lines that come out. I notice that this one sticks out from here. And this one sticks out from here. Where does that go? I'm going to say right here. Kind of an oval or almond shape. And now I can start drawing the petals that are underneath the other petals. So for example, this one here sticks out here. This one is underneath and it kind of drifts out a little and then comes back in. There's this one here, and it's got two petals behind it, kind of here and here. Which leaves some space over here for this final petal I didn't really quite get that shape right. And this one here has one that is underneath. And this one is also underneath. This one sticks out kind of at an angle. This one kind of curls around. Oh, but not on this side. This one's underneath. And then you see a little tiny bit of leaf sticking out here. So I'm going to color that in. Also, I notice that this area is a little bit darker. So I'm going to color that in. And I also want to draw the texture that I see on these petals. There seems to be kind of like a pattern here. So I'm going to color around the edge here. And then I noticed that my stem that I drew is not in the right place. So I'm actually going to change that. Let's see, it's kind of underneath this one that sticks out here. Got a lot of overlap going on. And it goes off into the distance, getting thinner as it goes away because that's how things work in space. It's a little bit darker at the base. So I'm going to add some value to the base down here. And then lighter and lighter as it goes up. I also want to grab my pencil again because there's some really subtle details going on here. Like for example, the change in color between the dark yellow and the light yellow. It's very, very subtle. And so I am going to change the value on my petals a little bit in the pattern, that radial pattern that we have here. And each one of these petals, even though it has its own look and feel, definitely has this rhythmic feel to it with the little folds and the little change in value. Whoops. And so on and so forth. Whoops, come back, little flower. And then I also noticed that there is a darker shadow underneath, making this overlap look more realistic. I can add a little bit more of a darker value to show which petal is underneath. That's really starting to come together. And so I think I'm going to add a very light value to represent the rest of the yellow. Oop. Let's get this in here. If I press very lightly with my pencil, I can get a very light value. And this is called shading. If you want to, whoop, you can blend with your finger because the graphite in pencils is smudgeable. I can add a little bit of a dull look to your picture, so don't do too much of it. It has the tendency to make your picture look not very lifelike anymore. So I'm going to add some value to my stem. And there you have it. It's not perfect. But remember, the idea of art is not that it's perfect, but that you are using your observational skills to draw what you see and not what you think you see. So, I would like to see everybody try today your wildflower and upload to your channel. See you soon.